Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, this is my YouTube channel called Sherelle Thinks, where I talk about all things health anxiety related. So I was actually on a call last night with one of my coaching clients, and it was the first time that I'd spoken to her, so it was our initial session, and she was telling me that her main kind of issue is this sensation and feeling of constantly being run down. And she wanted to know if I had experienced it, and she wanted some guidance on this issue. And I told her that absolutely yes, I felt this way for about 6-7 months, and it was just after the first lockdown, so back in 2020. And it was really bizarre, and what happened to me was that I felt constantly run down every single day. I had this crazy low-grade temperature that just would not shift. It was always around 37.8 to 37.9. So I was always feeling hot, always feeling flushed, always having a sore throat, nasal congestion. My sinuses were always sore to touch. I felt dizzy. I had when you're ill, you have that horrible taste in your mouth. Just felt tired, fatigued, low of energy, dizziness. It was bizarre. And I remember going through this phase of trying to figure out what it was. And I was back and forth to doctors all the time. And you know what? Weirdly, back then as well, my health anxiety, that was when I was starting to get it under control. But this was annoying me. And so I was going to the doctor and I was like, I don't know why I feel so unwell. And I had blood test done and everything was normal. And I was saying to the doctor, well, do you think maybe I've got an autoimmune disease? Is this fibromyalgia? I just couldn't figure out what was wrong. And the doctor was kind of stumped and was like, have you considered anxiety? And I was like, well, I've had anxiety my whole life and I've never had this feeling of being so run down. And he really made a good point. And he was like, well, maybe this is your immune system finally taking a hit. You've been chronically stressed and anxious for such a long time. Maybe this is your body's way of saying okay, I'm starting to suffer now. And yeah, so all of my bloods were fine. I had all the autoimmune antibody tests done, that was all fine. And then I was convinced, so for a while I was convinced maybe it's food allergies and some crazy intolerance. And then I was I bought these tests to see if I was intolerant to foods. And honestly, it was really bothering me because I just constantly felt unwell. I was always saying, I feel like I have the flu. I feel like I'm about to get ill. But nothing was fully coming of it. And this went on for quite some time. Like I said, it was a good 6 or 7 months. And I was stressed because it was the start of COVID. Everybody was scared. I was very anxious at the beginning as well because of COVID, and I literally just had a baby as well. So I was very anxious about him catching it because he was 2 months old. So when I look back now, I know for a fact that it was definitely my anxiety, and it's actually happened since as well. This is a new thing for me. When I feel that my anxiety's flaring up, for example, my kids have just got over a stomach bug. And I was really anxious because it was so bad that I was getting concerned that they would be dehydrated and stuff, and back and forth ringing the doctors, whatnot. And I was burning up. But it was weird because I felt like I was boiling, and I felt like maybe I caught the stomach bug, but I didn't have any of the symptoms. What I did have was congestion, the hot flashes again, the dizziness, the fatigue, and now that they're better, it's gone away. So I think this is a new thing for me. It's unpleasant, but I've spoken to a few people now that have said that they've just had this general sense of being unwell. And I think what it comes down to is that, stress and anxiety, they suppress our immune system. Everything slows down when we're in a state of fight or flight, because at the end of the day, the body is literally in a state of, we don't want our immune system to be, working right now, or our digestion. All we need is we need our eyes dilated so that we can, zoom in to the threat in front of us. We're going to send all of the oxygen and the blood to our hands and feet so that we can run. So everything else kind of gets neglected. And so the immune system is one of those things that, it can deal with short amounts of stress. And actually, short amounts of stress is actually good for the immune system, but chronic stress is not, you know, we're not kind of designed to deal with every single day 24/7 stress. So eventually the immune system will unfortunately take a hit, so you're more likely to pick up bugs and colds and coughs and infections, and also things will take longer to go away. So you might have a cold, and if you're very, very stressed and anxious, that cold might last for 3 weeks, whereas normally you might kick it in 3 days. So I think really it gave me kind of a bit of a reality check that I needed to get my anxiety back in check, and I need to continue to do all of the things that work and help me and everything, because it's not nice to feel this way. And that's exactly what I was telling my client last night, you know, when she was saying that she's kind of like fed up, is that unfortunately that kind of weakened immune system is only going to get better when we take charge of our anxiety and we prioritize it. But I'm really curious to hear from you guys if you've had this same thing. If you feel comfortable with it, please comment down below, like how it made you feel. It's one of those things that's quite hard to explain, isn't it? Like for me, I was like, oh, I just feel like I'm getting flu. That's kind of like the way that my mind could articulate it. But it was just an awful feeling of just not feeling well. It was just hard to explain. But anyways, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that it was somewhat reassuring to know that I've had it, and also some of my clients and other people that I've spoken to have had it as well. In the description of this video, you will find where to find me on social media. So I'm on Instagram at Sharelle Thinks, and my Instagram now is completely dedicated to health anxiety. So I went through all of my old pictures the other day and I've removed everything, and it's kind of like my health anxiety hub. So please feel free to visit that. If you want one-to-one coaching with me and you want to join my Patreon, so you have free access to my workshops, my kind of like exclusive posts, and obviously working with me, messaging me and things like that, you can join my Patreon. There's like various different tiers starting from £3 and it goes to £64, depending on what you want and need. Also, if you're looking for a Facebook support page, I have one. It's called the Health Anxiety Community. You feel free to join that, meet like-minded individuals and vent, write whatever you want, where I'm quite open with stuff like that. I'm not one of those health anxiety groups that like deletes and like moderates everything. Obviously I delete the trigger and stuff, but feel free to, you know, say whatever you want basically. So anyways, hope this was helpful. See you guys soon. Bye.